Good Monday morning, everyone. It is March 13th, 2023. It's going by fast. Today we're going to do this, nope, wrong direction, Vanna. We're going to do this fun Joseph's coat technique. So I think you're really going to have a lot of fun with this one. So I hope you'll stick with me through to the end. Before I go any further, last Monday we did, oh boy, lighting. Not so good today. We did this fun kissing technique on this card, and during the live, it went out to Lori, and for the replay people, it's going out to Terry. So congratulations, ladies. Lori's early, Terry's here, so works out perfect. I am going to switch cameras here in just a second. Want to introduce myself. I'm Donna Goodwin. I'm with Winged Horse Designs. I'm located in Brookings, South Dakota, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. My regular monthly in-person classes here in my home are next Tuesdays, so if you're interested in that, go out to my website and check that out. Or actually, there's a link in the description, I believe, for classes. If not, I'll add it in before after the video's over sometime today. So let me switch cameras and let's go ahead and get started because this takes a little bit of time. Okay, so here's a better view of what we're going to do. Good morning, Susan. And if you're joining us on replay, welcome. We're going to do this Joseph's coat technique. Now, typically you would see this done with black, but I chose to do it with some greens because greens are my favorite color. Good morning, Mary. And it gives you a little bit of a softer look if you use different colors. So I'm going to slide it up here. I've zoomed in quite a bit. I don't have much working space here. The stamp sets that I chose to use is Forever Fern. I like okay, yeah, I definitely zoomed in. So bear with me for a second. There, that's a little bit better. Whew. I chose Forever Fern because it's got all these different leafy patterns that I really like. So I chose for us today to use this leaf pattern, and one of these leaf patterns. And I just think it's really nice. But I wanted it to be a birthday card, so I came in with Happiness Abounds and chose this happy birthday greeting to put in there. All the measurements are in the description, so you won't need to write them down. I'm using a Granny Apple green card base that measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. I'm going to give that a good crease with my bone folder and set it aside. And then I've matted mine with brushed gold metallic paper. I really like this. You were on YouTube and had to switch to Facebook. Sometimes that happens, Harriet. Sorry about that. And this measures 4 inch. I'm not sure it's a full 4 inches. Let me check that out. It measures 3 7/8 of an inch by 5 1/8 of an inch. If you don't like those types of 1/8 measurements, just make it slightly larger than the piece that you're going to put on front. So on the inside, it's 4 inches by 5 1/4, and on the front, 3 3/4 inches by 5. So it's just a smidge larger. I didn't even think about that, Harriet. Harriet says, it looks pretty on St. Patty's week. I totally didn't even think about the fact that it was going to be St. Patty's week and that I was doing a green card. What a happy coincidence. And then on the inside, I just simply have another leaf. So even though it's kind of a scripty font for the happy birthday, I felt that it would still make a nice masculine card as well. So I'm going to actually push this aside. And we're going to start with our 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece. And I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper to protect my desk. And we're going to use 4 different inks today. You could use 2 inks, 3 inks, however many you want. I'm using Parakeet Party, Parapizzazz, Granny Apple Green, and for my dark, my substitute black, I'm using Garden Green. And you can use blending brushes. Oh, there we go. You can use okay, it really didn't like that, did it? You can use blending brushes. You can use sponge daubers, or you could use sponges. And wow, is the camera having a tough time today. That's going to drive me crazy and the rest of you too, I think. But maybe it'll settle down in a bit. Some days it works, some days it doesn't. So I'm going to start with Parakeet Party, and I'm going to use sponge daubers. And I'm just going to pick up some ink, and I'm going to randomly add some ink. And I'm just going to keep adding in a random pattern. But I want it to be, I want my Parakeet Party to be pretty intense. And let's put some more down here. And maybe we'll put some in here. And you notice I'm starting off the paper and coming in. That keeps me from getting some of those little circle spots. But as you keep rubbing and adding color, those kind of disappear. But this whole technique is going to make them disappear anyway. And then let's come in with the next darkest color, which would be Pear Pizzazz. And I'm just going to come in randomly again. There's no right or wrong way to do this. And I'm not even worried that it's not totally smooth, because when we get done, that's really not going to show all that much, that it's not perfectly smooth. I am going to let these touch a bit. And let's come in this way. And then I'm going to finish off those white spaces with Good Morning, Irene. And if you're joining us on replay, welcome. We are doing a Joseph's Coat today. It's just a really fun stamping technique. I'm going to fill in the rest of these spaces with Granny Apple Green. And I am making them kind of intense because I want them to show through after we do the next step. So then we need that to dry a bit. So I'm going to turn on a bit of music. Good morning, Susan. While I use the heat tool to dry this. And I hope you'll like this song. It's called Chocolate Cookie Jam. Everybody loves it. Now, if I hadn't been doing a video, that would have been a good time to go have a cookie break. So now that we have that done, we need to bring in our embossing buddy or any type of anti-static tool that you have. We need to make sure that we have absolutely no static on this, especially since we applied ink to it, and the ink tends to really grab all bits of embossing powder. And then with Versamark, I'm going to stamp these 3 different leaves randomly. And I think I'll bring this one in from up here. And of course, we can't see what we're doing yet. Good morning, Brenda. I think I want to go this way. And then we'll come in with this other leaf. And some of these may go on top of each other since I can't exactly see where they are. You can see it. You may not be able to see it in camera, but there you go. You can see it a little bit there. You kind of have to tilt it a little bit to see where you're coming from. But I'm okay if they overlap each other. And And then let's bring in this one. And we'll put a little bit of that one coming in this way. And I think we'll put a couple down here. And we're going to emboss with clear embossing powder because we want these greens to show through when we're done. So I'm going to take away that piece, bring in a couple more pieces of copy paper. And yes, I used the whole jar. So you can see here where there's a lot of that in there. I'm just going to flick that off. And there really is quite a bit still sticking in here of embossing powder, which means I didn't get this piece dry enough. I anticipated that, and I have another piece that's already done. So that's why it's important, if you can, to just take a break and walk away and give it a good chance to dry. So I have another piece here where I've already done, it's hard to get the camera to pick it up, that I've already done, there you can start seeing some where I've already done the embossing. So I'm going to bring this back in, and this time I'm going to use a blending brush because I'm going to go over the entire card, or this piece anyway. So I'm bringing in Garden Green. This is going to be my dark color, my substitute black. And I'm going to pick up ink, and I'm going to start blending it over the whole card. And you can really tell the difference on the lighter colors when it starts going in over those. You could also apply this top coat with a brayer. I like the blending brush because it gives me a softer look. But it all depends on the look you're going for. This is really stunning in the fall with leaves done in fall colors and then put black over it. Then the brayer, if you use a brayer, it really makes those leaves stand out. Or any other pattern with bright colors like flowers and black. You can see I'm putting quite a bit on here. I'm really getting it dark. The next step is to take either an inky rag or a paper towel. I'm just going to use an inky rag and lightly rubbing over the embossed areas. And you can see how it now starts to pop up. We're just rubbing that ink off those embossed areas. If you have any questions, please do put them in the comments and I'll get to those at the end. And you can see how rubbing off that ink really made these colors pop, especially the light parakeet party. I'm actually going to put my card in this way. And now it's simply a matter of putting the card together after we stamp the inside. And I'm going to stamp that one with the darker garden green. And I'm going to use this big one. this particular stamp says what they call distinctive. So I don't have to worry about getting different shading because it just does it all for me. And I love those kind. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one to the inside. Oh, I can't wait to show that comment. Now, this is kind of slick. So instead of using liquid glue, I'm going to bring in tear and tape. You want something really, really strong to stick to that slick surface of the metallic. So I'm going to use tear and tape. Oh, I'm not very, there we go. Kind of sliding out of camera, wasn't I? You can find me in a couple different places if you're not familiar with me. You can find me on my website at Winged Horse Designs. If you're watching me on YouTube, you can find me on Facebook at Winged Horse Designs. If you're watching me on Facebook, you can also find me at YouTube on Winged Horse Designs. And you can also find me on Instagram at Winged Horse Designs. But most importantly, if you're enjoying this, please do like, comment, and share with your friends. I like to peel off and make a flag. If you've been watching me for a long time, you know this. I forget who taught me this trick, but it's like the best trick ever. I like to pull off from two different corners and leave these little flags sticking out. I call them flags. And then I can use these two corners to get my alignment in. And I can press down the ones that are open and then just simply pull these tabs out from underneath. So now we have our mat. The same thing, the back side is slick as well. So I'm going to use tear and tape there as well. The only thing I got to be careful of is not to put tear and tape on top of tear and tape. Otherwise it makes it kind of hard to get it apart or to get the backing off. Okay, I bumped my mouse and now I'm not seeing. Oh, there we go. I lost comments there for a minute. I panicked. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I'm going to use those unexposed corners to line this up. Then push down the exposed adhesive and pull the tabs out. Now you notice, I don't know if you can see it here. You see how there's a little bit hanging off here? That means there's going to be a little adhesive hanging off. So I'm going to kind of hold it up so I can curl that bit of adhesive back before laying it down. And that one tore before it all came. Oh, it did all come off. My imagination. And then for the happy birthday, I already did that in advance. This is 3/4 of an inch by 3 1/4 inches. I stamped and embossed in gold my happy birthday. I'm going to mount that with dimensionals. I'm going to put it down here. I think I'm going to put mine down here in this corner like I did the other time. And there you have a Joseph's Coat embossed card. I'm going to leave this without embellishments because I really want the leaves to stand out on this one. So let's do, whoops. I really need an assistant when I'm doing this. There we go. So I hope you're enjoying this. Let me take a look at comments and answer any questions and answers. So, there's a lot of you here this morning. Good morning, Brenda. So Harriet says this is such an interesting technique. You know, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of different things you can do with this. And I haven't played with it much, but I need to start playing with it a little bit more. Lori thinks the card is beautiful. So you just noticed that when I did Harriet, it had a little F, had the pretty little F. Brenda says it's gorgeous. It has this little F. It tells you that this person commented on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, you can't see the Facebook comments and vice versa unless I show them. So Paula says, makes her hopeful for spring, and she's looking at green rather than the white. Yes, I agree. Better than the white. If you saw me doing this, is to look around the camera. Terry says it's good to see leaves instead of snow. Oh, we can all say that up here. If you're in the northern part of the hemisphere where it's snowing a lot right now because it's March, that's why all of us are saying that. How do I stay so clean? Well, I don't. I really don't. But part of the reason that I don't have quite as much ink as maybe you might have expected on my fingers is if you put lotion on your hands before you start. Now, you don't want it to be real greasy because then it'll transfer to the paper. And I don't have one in hand's reach. But there's a lotion called Gloves in a Bottle that is excellent for anyone who does sewing, yarn crafts, paper crafting, anything like that, because it goes on and it seeps in right away and it's not all greasy, and so it doesn't transfer to your projects. Harriet, did you say this is Joseph's Coat while you were messing around on YouTube? Yes, this is called Joseph's Coat. And thank you, Paula. I'm glad you think it's beautiful. And Patty's here. And Patty says she guessed she missed it. She'll have to watch the rerun. You know, the reruns are always great. Not a problem. So I think it's probably time. Whoops. Why? Why is it called Joseph's Coat? I don't know. I didn't name it. Somebody else named this technique. So I don't know why they named it Joseph's Coat. Maybe because originally most people would do it with black over it and then let the colors pop. And so that's where it comes kind of from the Joseph's Coats idea there. And you usually use bright colors. Do you usually use 3 colors in black? You can use any variety of colors. You could use 1, 2, 3. You know, you can use however many or however few you like, Mary. I opted for 3 just because I like the idea of doing 3 different colors underneath there. And Paula says, I think the gloves in a bottle after I've started and I'm all inky. To be honest with you, I do too. To be perfectly honest, I think about it after the fact as well. The same as when I'm using intricate dies, I think about the adhesive sheets after I've cut them out and I got to put the little dots of glue all over the back. So that's just the way some of us go. So I am going to go ahead and cue up the giveaway, and we'll see who's going to get this card from the live stream. Okay, there's 9 of you. Let's see what we get. Harriet. Okay, this card's going to go out to Harriet. Congratulations, Harriet. And let's see, I need to do, whoops. There we go. Takes me a while to get all these things running. So I hope you enjoyed Joseph's coat. There's, like I said, play with it. There's a lot of different color combinations you can use. It's just really a lot of fun. So I will be back. Actually, I've uploaded a video for Friday using embossed resist. So I'm doing this one with a lot of colors again, but that's an embossed resist technique. Pretty simple, kind of old, kind of new. We use it a lot anyway. And then next week, I'm doing watercolor lifting for the live on Monday. So have a wonderful week, everyone. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, stay warm and stay safe. And if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, we're jealous of you and your warm weather. I'll see you next week. Happy trails.